In this episode of Doom Eternal explained by Hugo Madsen, we're going to dive into the history of Davoth, the Dark Lord, learn some really cool secrets about his past, and see why Davoth is one of the most tragic characters in all of gaming. I'm not making that up. After what Hugo said and explained in this video, Davoth's story will have you whipping, my friend. Anyways, if you like Doom, subscribe, leave a huge like, and join my Patreon. Thank you very much.
I know that there are certain things around Primevals, Doomguy and the yin and yang of Doomguy and Davoth, the story of Davoth that I think is really compelling. I love the character of Davoth. People have to understand, he was the hero of his world. Yes, shit went way south. He went down the dark path, but he was the hero of his world. I mean, he fought to save his people. That city that he defended, he probably had battles like that with the Makers. People fought to try to stop him, and all he wanted to do was save his world. He was seen as a threat to everyone by his own creation. And what else? I mean, what about the one that made him? Does he feel betrayed by him? How much does Davoth know about Primevals himself? And the idea that why was Doomguy made after Davoth? You know what I mean? There's only one of them, and it's interesting to me that whoever that mysterious voice is, that he may have made Doomguy for a reason. The Doomguy's creation and who he is, just a man, but that the potential to be something greater, and the balance. Essentially he brought balance to the Doom universe,
The Seraphim is somewhere, do not know the specifics, but he's turning into a big Cthulhu-like monster. If you make another Doom game in the future, in 2026 or I don't know, instead of fighting demons, we fight big makers, and instead of hellish vibes, we get HP Lovecraftian vibes from Bloodborne or I don't know.
Which would be awesome, because
yeah.
I love Cthulhu. And I love H.P. Lovecraft. So it's not all chains and horns and hooves. That's a big part of the Hell universe. I think when you go to Necroval, the city of the damned, city made of human suffering, we love that stuff. I feel like we, a fucking titan that's crying lava,
That's so metal.
Guys, we checked that box. We love that, and that's still a part of the Doom universe. But Amora is not what Hell looks like. Amora is the last city inside of Hell, but that's just a tiny little dot that Davoth just defends. But Hell is huge. There are all these different parts of it. That is a world that was created out of his failure, and it is totally, taken on its own existence. I love the fact that the world that sprang up around him as a result of his rage and essentially his mismanagement of that world and the mistakes that he made, really, again, just like Doomguy, just rages beyond his control. I think he is the alpha of that world.
Yeah.
But the way the city is constructed with the wall all around it, it's because I used to have a city. You know what I mean?
Well, you have demons and titans around it, so it's not.
Yeah, and I think he commands them, but also I think there's aspects, I believe that there is conflict inside of Hell with itself. Does everybody respect Davoth and listen to him? Yeah, probably, but when you look at the Emperor and the Sith, they're evil. It's not everybody gets in line.
Yeah, the Emperor wants Darth Vader to strike him down because that's the way of the Sith, etc.
Exactly. So there's just tons of conflict inside of Hell that I think is fascinating, and I think that I am really, really interested in peeling back the layers of Hell. And absolutely, just the idea that there's an aspect of the Makers that the Transfiguration, they turn into Cthulhu monsters. So what those different worlds would look like in Hell. We've only just scratch the surface.
I want to touch upon that because I think with Doom Eternal the game has expanded so much. It's not only Hell at the moment. Well, it's Hell, it's also the cult on Earth, it's the Makers. The game the universe has expanded so much that it can expand to other types of vibes, I guess, cosmic horror and Hell and all that stuff. It doesn't need to be only Hell.
That's just lame. Why would we only do one thing? Who the fuck doesn't want to explore a Lovecraftian aspect of Hell? Come on, guys. Sometimes I'll read look, I think the majority of the audience is really stoked to go to these places and explore these new concepts because it's fun, it's new stuff. Yes, conventionally, should we stick to chains and pointy ears and hooves? Of course, and that is still a part of Hell. I think there are so many different worlds and aspects to the world of Hell. I want to do a greater exploration of that stuff. I think it's really compelling. The only reason why we do the Doom universe in the first place on tags 1 and 2 and Eternal in 2016 was just to that because it's cool. It's to make a compelling universe.
Yeah. Why you
It's
do
like
it?
a-
Because it's cool.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's because it's
Why
cool.
do you do anything? I mean, like, why is there Dagobah in Star Wars? Because it's cool.
It's
you know,
cool.
like Tatooine, Dagobah. You know, all of these different things, bounty hunters, all this stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, Middle Earth wouldn't be very interesting if it didn't have different places to go to. The Knights of Ren. That's a really cool concept. I want to know about the Knights of Ren. you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, like the H.P. Lovecraft cosmic horror aspect of hell, the relationship between Davoth, again, like really a tragic figure in hell. I don't like the fact that the leader of hell would just, I'm just bad. Like that's it. I'm just evil. Like that's just lame. You know, like there's a reason for why he is evil. He's still super evil. You know, like and obviously twisted, self-serving, but I mean he is selfless like Doomguy too. Like he did all of this for his people.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. All for the sake of his people.
There's a power structure to hell and a hierarchy that I think is cool and more of what I would like to explore in the Codex, the Doom Bible stuff. Start to paint a picture of some of that stuff. There's some really interesting fiction we've talked about internally in the studio around the hierarchy of hell. You know, hell's, I always thought of like characters like the Baron and the Hell Knight. Those are like the soldiers, the wild beasts, the animals of hell. You know, like when Davoth unleashes them on Doomslayer at the opening of Tag 2, he commands them like wild beasts. But the priests, the hell priests, show us that there are sentient people, demons inside of hell, like beyond Davoth, you know, like high priest, you know, and a whole caste system to hell that I think would be so interesting to explore.
I've always liked the idea that Davoth, even if he's like the leader of hell or the fiercest among them, he doesn't control the entirety of it.
No,
Like,
I don't think he does.
yeah.
I think they're scared of him because he's the alpha, you know, he's the lion, you know, the leader of the pride, that when he comes back and, you know, no one would step to him. But that's not to say that people haven't tried. Like there was some cut dialogue probably that was in the game that people heard, but just like that he wasn't the first to challenge him. That arena that they fight in, he's fought many people in that arena. Doomslayer is not the first guy to show up and try to take, like, the idea of the leader of the pride gets challenged often. And really, it's the Doomslayer that eventually takes him down.
Oh yeah, you have all this lore surrounding Davoth, like when Jakad went into corruption, he got sealed by the Makers, etc. I think that was a long time in the process, so a lot of things happened in between. So I think, of course, someone had to challenge Davoth eventually. Like, Doom story is about really bad managers.
It is. It's all people who should be fired. Well, it's a pretty consistent theme. Like everybody's doing their best and doing what they think is right, and it's all wrong. and I think Doomguy kind of has it right. He's just like, no, let's just destroy it all. You know.
If violence was a fixture of problems, you need more violence in it, basically.
Yeah. But again, like that was Davoth's answer. Didn't work out. So like, there is that sort of
Fine line. Yeah.
The line between good and evil, and like, you know, Davoth went one way, but Doomguy is currently going another. But like, I think that those two characters and their relationship is interesting. In another circumstance, Doomguy could have easily ended up like Davoth.
Like corrupted by something.
But well, by his own rage. You know,
yeah.
Like
he's the
absolutely.
avatar of rage.
Yeah. So if that goes in the wrong direction, like it did with Davoth, I mean, he could easily end up like him.
He did went to that direction 2 times. I mean, his family died, his dimension probably died too when he was on Sentinel grounds. They didn't all die, but it all happened because of him, because he was the super weapon of the Makers, so he feels guilty for it. Like he had a ton of opportunities to.
Both characters have saved their world, but also caused a tremendous amount of suffering, you know, indirect.
But Davoth went into corruption and Doomguy decided not to. He instead used that power to kill all evil against all the evil that hell can conjure.
But I love the fact that like that is also what Davoth tried to do. You know, like the Makers were evil, but again, like he was betrayed by them. So that's why it's still open. You know, like who knows, you know, where it goes from there. But we'll look to you know, again, like provide you guys with some more rules about the universe and answer some of these questions.
Yeah, honestly, if you ever do like continue the story of Doom, there's a lot of people really fucking interested and hyped to know what's going to happen in the future. With this comes this other question, because I've only asked 4 and it's already an hour since we began. Will the Spider Mastermind ever appear again on a sequel? Not like a boss, but like a sub-boss like the Tyrant or the Marauder or whatever? Or do you think it's possible?
I think anything's possible. I mean, like, listen, in a comic book fictional universe, is there a chance that, you know, like, some of the tissue of the Spider Mastermind could be reanimated to bring Olivia back, you know, in some way? Yeah, I think that's possible, you know, and I think stuff like that is fun, you know, like, in spite of all the heavy lore, you know, Doom is also just like a wild comic book, you know, so it's a compelling character. I really like Olivia, and the Spider Mastermind is an iconic figure, as is the Icon of Sin. So, like, you know how it is. Like, there's always some little way to bring a great character back in these great stories.
Okay, so Olivia comes back confirmed.
I don't.
No, I'm joking.
No confirmations.
No confirmation. Thank you to Lapix for becoming a Patreon on the Patreon page. A huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, you guys are absolutely awesome, and a humongous shout out to all of my chat slayers in Spartan Army. Infinity X117, Cole Thompson, Jack Attack Hero, The Boss Bass, Solid Fire, Icon of Sin, Kodu Kenshi, Doomslayer 471, The Regular Dude, Andrew Drew, Elite Chancho, Saint Hentho, General Clipto, Unknown User Zero, Awesome Bro, Florian Hablo, and Grayson West. All of you guys are awesome and I love you. If you want to support the channel, link to the Patreon page is going to be down below. And so, okay, Spartans, I'll see you on Friday or maybe tomorrow for a special video on Star Wars The Bad Batch. I loved it. But anyways, have an awesome Wednesday, stay safe, stay home. Adios, bye.